Hi and welcome back. So today we are going to talk about conditions. Conditions are if-then-else statements, which probably you may be aware of how it works, or you may have already studied about it in your theories. So conditions are used to check a condition inside our program. If the condition is met or the condition is true, the program does something, and if the condition is not met or it is false, the program does something else or it just doesn't do anything based on that particular condition. And there is no other case of other than true or false. A condition is met or not met, true or false. There is no other situation. Now for comparison, the conditions, we use comparison operators. So we have equal to, so we use double equal signs for checking if a particular variable is having a specific number or a specific value. So we use double equals. If you want to check that it is not equal to something, we use exclamation mark and equal sign. So that means that if it is not equal to that, we have greater than, less than, greater than, or equal. So this meets when the number is met for the numbers. If the variable amount is greater than or equal to a specific number, it will be true. And similarly, we have also less than or equal to. Also, it's very important to remember that for comparison, we use double equal sign, not one single one. The single equal sign is only used whenever you are assigning a value to a variable. Whenever we are using in the if statement, we are checking the equality of the variable with something, we use double equal sign. And also remember, for not equal, we use exclamation mark and equal sign. Now, to build this, to implement this inside our pseudocode programming, we use if, then, and if mandatory statements. So we write it in this way. It's very similar to English language. So if name, for example, if you have a variable called name is equal to Bob, then it will print correct. Else, we can have else. Else is optional. It's not mandatory. So you can have it or you may not have it. And here we are saying that else, if the name is not Bob, it will print incorrect. This one has something else called else if. So you can have you can check multiple conditions of that particular variable that you are checking here. So if the name is equal cat, we print it's a cat. Else if name is equal dog, then it prints it's a dog. And there is another else, which is whatever else is prints that this is a different animal. So this is like a multi-stage conditions, using if and else if statement. So whenever you use the else if, you put the else if, you put the condition, and you put the then, and finally you put the end if at the end. We have also something called nested condition. So if then else condition inside another condition. So let's say, for example, we are checking the two values of two numbers, so x and y, and we are checking first if the x is more than 10 and x is less than or equal to 20. So here also, with using and or, you can combine multiple conditions with each other. So if you use and, means both of these conditions, they should be true. Okay, so here in this case, the x must be more than 10, and also x must be less than or equal to 20. So it should be something between 10 and 20. 15, for example, 16, 17. But if you have something like 200 is more than 10, but 200 is not less than or equal to 20. So it will not be met inside this condition. So let's imagine that. So if our x is between 10 and 20, then we have another condition if y, another variable. So this is a condition inside this if statement. If y is greater than 5 and is less than 7, then we print x and y are within our range. Else here, so this is the else for this if statement related to the y. We print that x is in the range because we have already checked the situation of x. So x is in the range, y is out of range. And this end if we have here, this is related to this if statement. So this if for the y, this is the if, this is the else, and this is the end if. And finally, for this one, we have if x is more than 10. If x is not more than 10, let's say x is 5, right? So it will not go to this line, it will not go to any of this line, and it just goes to the else, and it says print x is out of range. So it will not check even the situation of the y. As soon as it goes to this line, it checks that, oh, this x is not meeting this condition, it's 5, or maybe it is something 200 or something. It just goes to the else and prints it's out of range. And remember, always we need to use the end if. Let's go to our code station and do a couple of examples, and we take it from there. All right, so I have a problem statement here that it's asked us to write a program that asks the user for their name and then prints a welcome message if the name is Alice or Jack. It should accept Alice or Alice with small cases, or Jack in capitals, or Alice with AL in capital and I in small case, and comma all cases. Okay. So I don't need to get worried about this line. So remember, whenever we are building a program, we don't need to do everything in one shot. We do step by step. We build the ground, we create our program, we do our base, the foundations, then we start adding more features to our program. We never build any program from the scratch, the whole thing. We create the base and we add features to it. So for this one, let's start working on it. It says we need to ask the user for their name, and we have to show a print welcome message if the name is Alice or Jack. All right, so I'm going to ask the user for their name. So I will create a variable called name, and I will say that is input. I will ask the user, please enter your name. Okay, so user enters the name. Now here I need to check if the name is Alice or Jack. Okay, so I will copy paste this because it saves me some time. I will say if name is equal to Alice or name is equal to Jack, then now what do? I need to print a welcome message. Print welcome to your program. And I can print Jack. I can print their name actually. I can close this and I can put name. So it will print their name. Now I have put if, then, and if they are not Jack or Alice, it's better for me to say something, otherwise we'll not print anything and we don't know what happened, right? So I can print this program is only for Alice and Jack, and you are not any of them, right? So if, then, else, and I must close it with the end if. All right, so let's try it now. Run, enter your name. So I enter my name, Bob, and it says this program is only for Alice and Jack. So I enter it. This condition did not met. So name is Bob, is not Alice, is not Jack. So it goes directly from here. It jumps to the else because the condition is not met, is false, and it prints that this program is only for Alice and Jack. Now if I enter Alice, it will say welcome to your program Alice. If I enter Jack, it says welcome to your program Jack. So that's wonderful. That's what we needed. So this is how we build the very basic if then else conditions for the strings. Did you notice that I put all of this in double quotes because we are playing with the strings. So the name is being entered, that's a string, and I'm comparing it with another string using double equals and having these names also in double quotes. Now the program is saying that also we should accept Alice or Jack in all cases. Okay, so you can write it in many different ways, right? If I enter Alice like this, it says this program is only for Alice and Jack. So it did not went here because it is case sensitive. Now to make it case insensitive or ignore the cases, we need to be a little bit creative. You remember we learned about those string functions like upper cases, lower cases. So you must be a little bit be creative here and think about how we can use those techniques to check. So for example, whatever a user is entering here, instead of I keep it like this, I convert that into a lowercase or uppercase, and I compare that with the Alice in lower or upper. So let's do one of them with uppercase and one of them with lowercase. So I will say, instead of if name is equal to Alice, I will say if all of them are lower cases, but if the lower of name is equal Alice, or now this one I'm going to try it with upper. Okay, so uppercase of the name is equal to Jack. Jack should be all in caps. Okay, so whatever you enter here, it will get converted to uppercase or lowercase when it is getting compared in the condition, right? It does not change the real name. So let's have a go. So if I enter Alice here, it says welcome to your program, Alice. If I enter Ali like this, welcome to your program, Alice, and this is exactly how I typed it. So it did not change it because I did not change the variable name. And if I enter whatever I want, Jack in or lower, that also works. So this is how I solve the problem of creating something that, you know, is completely case not sensitive. Okay. All right, so let's go for another example of nested conditions. So let's do this one. So we have a question here, a theme park ride safety check. Question is saying a theme park ride has safety rules based on age and height. So the age of the person, also the height of the person. The rules, the user enters their age and their height in centimeters, okay? And there are some conditions. If age is under 12, it is not allowed. So if someone is under 12 years old, you are not allowed even to write this. If age is over 12, okay, now we have to check the height. If the height is less than 140 centimeter, you are not allowed. If height is 140 to 180, you are allowed. If height is over 180 centimeter, need a special seat. Okay, so we have to first of all, we have to check the age, right? And more importantly, to start this program, to build it or to write it, we need to start to understand what exactly we need to do. So we need to check. This says the user enters their age and their height. So I need to get two inputs from the user. The first one is age. So I will create a variable called age, and it is input, and I will going to ask, please enter your age. And since this is going to be stored as a number, we are going to play it as a number, I'm going to convert it to the integer, right? Otherwise, whenever you have a standard input, it will store that number as a string inside the age, which we don't want to do that, right? Because we are going to do some comparison, the mathematical or arithmetical comparison with the age. So this is the age, and we are going to ask also for the height. So height is going to be, again, I'm converting it to integer. I'm putting input, double quote, please enter your height. Okay, so age and height are, we got it from the user. Now we need to check if the age is under 12. So I'm going to put the if statement. If age is less than 12, okay, then you are not allowed. Print, you are not allowed. Done. Okay, now if you are more than 12 years old, so I'm just putting an else, okay, if you are, because it says if you are under 12, you are not allowed. Okay, so I'm checking that. if the age is 12 or over, do I need to put another else if, that if you are greater than 12 or over? We can do that. Also, we can use it with else, but let's use else if. So else if age is greater than or equal to 12, then okay. Now here we already checked we already passed the age limit, so this person is above 12 years old. Okay, now we have to check the person's height. Now I'm going to create another if statement. If height, okay, is less than 140 centimeter, it is not allowed. Okay, if height is less than 140, then I'm going to say you are not allowed. Unfortunately, you are not allowed because you are less than 140 centimeter. Okay, now, so this is done. Now, if the height is between 140 and 180 centimeter, you are allowed. Now, I need to put another else if, okay, if height is greater than or equal to 140 and height is less than or equal to 180, then I have to print you are allowed, right? So if you are more than 140 and less than 180, so if you are somewhere in between, so you are 160 centimeters, you are 170 centimeters, you are 179 centimeters, you are 180 centimeters, still you are allowed to write. If you are exactly 140 centimeters, yes, you are allowed to write. So if someone is 140, because this condition is met, right, and we have an right, 140 is less than or equal to 180, right? So this condition is also met. If you put an or here, that makes it a little bit weird, because if you put an or instead of and here, if someone is 200 centimeters, right? 200 centimeters is greater than or equal to 140, yes. So, but it is less, it is not less than 180, but since it is a or, it will be true. The whole condition will be true. So that's why we should not use or statement or operator here. All right, so here we have done this part. You are allowed. All right, now what is the next one? If the height is over 180 centimeters, so I can put another else if here, okay? Else if height is more than 180, then I have to print something. You need a special seat. You need special seat as it is requested here, right? So we are doing exactly as what the program is asking. All right. Now I have done the conditions. Now I have to be very smart in closing my end ifs, okay? Because these are nested conditions inside each other, so we have to be very careful. So this is the if, so if statement, so this is the inside, the inner if statement that I have here. If, then, else if, then, I have else if, then, I need to close this if statement, right? These are all else ifs are part of this if statement, so I just need to, I don't need to have another else here, so I'm just putting end if here. And you see here, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they are all in one line, one vertical line. So they are all belonging to this if statement. So this if statement for the height starts from here, line number 23, and it ends at line number 29. Okay, that's how it works. Now, the outer if statement, the condition for the age, that is started on line number 20. I have an else if here, line number 22, right? I have to close it also, right? So if the age is less than 12, you are not allowed. Else if age is this, okay, so I don't need to do anything. I just close it, right? All right, so now let's run the program and see how it works. I'm going to run it. Okay, so first please enter your age. I'm going to enter a low age. I will say I'm 10 years old. It will ask me to enter the height. So this is this line actually asking for the height. So I'm going to say I'm 160 centimeters, and it says you are not allowed, right? You are not allowed because this condition is met. Age is 10, it is less than 12, and I'm not allowed to write. So let's run it again, and let's do it in this way. I'm going to enter my age as 15 years old, and I'm going to put my height as let's be less than 140, right? 130 centimeter, and it says you are not allowed. Okay, so that's also good. Let's run it again. Let me reset that. I'm going to be 65 years old, and my height is gonna be, let's be 180 centimeters. Now it says you are allowed. Okay, so that's fine, that's very good, because I am now here, right? My height is 180, and I'm matching with this condition, and it says you are allowed. Let's try it again with another age. So I'm going to be 13 years old, and my height, let's gonna be 190 centimeters, very tall, and it says you need special seat, which is this part of the condition, right? So this is how you test your program. So you need to give data to test each part of your if then else statement to make sure it is working properly. Always, whenever you are writing a program, make sure that you tested all of these conditions with the test data. Okay. All right, so this was a nested if example. We studied also different type of the conditions, and you see these are the conditions that we mix them together using and or, and you can add additional ands also to the conditions. There is no limit on number of the ands or ors you are adding to them. You just need to be careful that you know how you are doing that, especially when you are mixing and ors together. Try to use the parentheses always, but if you are using mixing ands, you know, it's fine, you don't need to create parentheses. Okay, so this was our brief lesson about the condition, the if then else statements. Remember, for checking a variable, if it is exactly equal to something, we need to use equal only in the conditions. Okay, in the if then else statements we use the double equals. One single equal is only for assigning a value to a variable. That's the difference. And if you have if then else statement inside another if then else statement, that is called nested condition. You know, in technical words we call it nested conditions. And we just need to be very careful when you have to close, you have to put the end ifs for each statement, the inner side, the one which is inside, and then put the ones for the outside. Make sure that you are putting them together. Try to write them always in this way. You know, you put some indents or gaps, spaces, so it will be easier to identify if you are missing some of them, right? Even when you are doing it in the exam, in the GCSE exam, you are writing these codes on the piece of paper. Always try to write it with pencil, and you know, put your if statement, put your end if also before you forget that, and you can always erase and you know change it, you know, change the way in the way that you want it, right? So that is the little tricks related to the exam. All right, so this was about the conditions, and I will see you in the next session and next lesson.